Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Beautiful. I love it. And you're smiling.
Yes.
And the life is bubbling. It's pulsating. Just keep smiling. That's how life is.
Yes. I've been doing research on Osho, and I've also been listening to you, and I strongly feel that it's like you're an Osho born again.
Arlene, I think this is crazy, but I know you have listened to him too.
Yes, both of you.
You know, Osho, it was 1966. I was going to finish my medical school in 1967, and we heard about Osho. At that time, his name, they used to call him Acharya, a teacher, and everybody thinks he was totally nuthead, crazy. And I start telling people, my friends in the medical college, I'm going to go listen to this guy. His name was Rajneesh. I say, I'm going to go listen to him. They say, you are crazy. I say, look man, this guy is attracting people, 50,000 to 100,000 people come and listen to him. I think he's the real genius. I think he is enlightened. He said, what do you mean by that enlightened? I say, he's only 35 years old and I understand what he's doing. Because I know when I was 10 years old, I used to play what we call marbles. And I go in my yard outside. We had about 30 homes in that neighborhood because each neighborhood was divided, and I used to play marbles. And I was the oldest one, and my father, he loved me. He never yelled at me. And I go and win everybody. And we were playing with money. I was talking about God. You talk about 1954, and now it is 2018. So you can imagine that. I was totally awake in a different way because I'll go win everybody. And then I grew up and I keep doing the same paraphernalias. I did the same thing in my high school. I'll go and do crazy things. People say he's crazy. Then I met a guy, I was in high school, and I was in a co-education, and we had about 4 guys and about 9 girls. Total kids were 13 in that class. And I will go and talk to all the girls. And the other guy says, you are crazy. You should not talk to them. But that's the way I was. But crazy things happen because the mind is always curious. Mind wants to do certain things. Then I went to pre-medical. Same thing. I didn't attend my class. I go sit outside. I put my attendance and a back door. I run away. Medical college I end up. Luckily, there was God's blessing. And I became a doctor. And when I was telling you about this Osho, then I lost a contact with him. I came to the United States in 1967. I end up doing my internship, residency, and also urological residency and so on. And then when I went to practice, and eventually my father came here in 1974, and one day he got sick, and I had to close the office literally that day, and I said, my God, my guru, he's going to die. So I ended up giving him IV medication, and he got better. Took him to another doctor. I said, man, I don't know what's going on with him. He said one of the valves is blocked. I took him to Tampa General Hospital. There was an Indian guy, Vijay. He says, hey, your father is not going to make on the table, he'll die. I said, wait a minute. I do surgery, if you want to help me, we're going to do surgery. He's going to die anyway. Well, we did the surgery, he did the surgery, and I was watching him. great man. He put an aortic valve on him. And he said, now next 3 days, we have to keep him in the ICU and we have to put a what we call, do an endotracheal tube. I said, fine. I slept that day in the hospital. 4 o'clock, my father woke up. He says, I want to take this tube out. And every nurse and the doctor Vijay told, we can't take the tube out. What? My father says, I can't breathe, take my tube out. Well, I was a practiced physician and I was take every chance what possible. I've done all kind of things, weird things in medicine. So I took the tube out. Lovely. My father is breathing, happy, he started walking. Morning, Vijay comes, 9 o'clock. He says, hey, what's going on? He said, he's ready to go home. He said, what the heck is this going on? So third day, we brought him home. He ended up with the 17 pills, and later on, I met Dr. Sodi Polaris from Mexico City. Bless his heart, he's not living anymore. And he taught me what an electrocardiogram can tell you. That is called the ECG of the heart, which I was just looking very superficially, not paying attention. I spent 1 month with him, and when I came back, in a month, my father was off most of the medication, except a blood thinner and a 1 heart pill, which we call a lanoxin, which actually called a digitalis, which comes from a plant, but actually it's a pill. It's a poison, but we have to give digitalis to the person to regulate the heart, to slow the heart. Anyhow, after that, when my father got all that better, 17 pills are off, except 2 left. Now he can walk 1 mile a day. He pick up the grandchildren, my oldest daughter, and so on. My life changed. I was doing the same thing before, but in a little different way. In what we call the material world. I did not know much about what we call the non-material world. I knew a little bit. My father taught me a mantra. Satnam, Karta Purakh, Nirpau, Nirvair, Akal Murat, Ajuni Sahib Bhang, Gur Prasad. Jab Ad Sach, Jugad Sach, hai bhi sach. Nanak Hosi bhi sach. That means there is only one God, whatever that is. And my practice completely changed, and I start teaching people about the consciousness, and we started a called the polarizing program after learning from Dr. Sodi Polaris. Then in 2008, I finished a book called the Kama Sutra Yoga, which you see that my grandson is on the picture. And my children were growing. I have 5 children. And I've gone through a lot of turmoil because I was completely outspoken in the medical industry. And I've seen every disease. And I don't want to go into detail about what I did on the prostate cancer, breast cancer, cardiovascular diseases. If I tell you all that stuff, your hairs will stand up like anything. But anyhow, then in 1982 I met an Osho again, and now I finished a book again called The Orgasm Prescription for Conditioned Unconsciousness. So I went back on the Osho and started looking. He wrote a book. He did not write, he had practically no book technically, because he was only talk. Because when you write a book, it's really a dead body. When you really talk, that's a life, like a flower, a tree giving the flower and giving a fruit. And I've been listening to the Osho And I tell you, you're right what you're saying. But by listening to him, he was a genius. He was living in the present. He speaks whatever comes to him. No preparation, no writing. And that's you saw me myself. And that's called the total emptiness of yourself. That means you become a total mirror. And that's what a life should be. Once you become a total mirror, that means there is nothing there. You become a watcher. And after that, the watcher also disappears. And when it comes to that, every human being thinks about who I am. When they keep finding that is the watcher which is sitting inside of you. That is the child sitting inside of you. That is the seed sitting inside of you. The seed need to be sprouted, die again, and born again. And that will happen to the Christ. When you talk about Christ, he was born as a virgin. That's what it means. You know, when the Christ was 20 years of age, he left Israel. He went to Egypt, Iraq. He went to Tibet. He went to India. He learned Vedanta. And when he came back, he said, the kingdom of heaven is inside of you. He's talking about that seed. The seed is inside of you. You have to let the seed give the right soil, right feeding. That mustard seed, he called it, it can sprout again. First it has to die, dissolve it, then it's to rise up again. And that's how the Jesus Christ was born again from himself. And that's where he said the kingdom of heaven is inside of you. And that is written in Osho's book. I love it. I have become a mirror too. And I see myself. But it's not easy. When that you become a mirror totally empty, that means the power of no mind. The clouds, there is no cloud in the sky. There is purity, there is total honesty, sincerity. You are growing. It's a radical transformation happening every second. Just like the trees, they're growing. The roots, from the roots, they're going, you can see on the top. Just like I show you. Remember? The new leaves is coming, new bud is coming. And we all have that. And my aim is now to share, to make them another million people, to wake them up. So that we can make a new world, a new humanity. Because that's why I want to see my grandkids. Because they're all sleeping. Yesterday I was on the beach. And I'm walking on the beach and I see all these people. Everybody is sick. The whole body is deformed. They're walking like a dead corpse. And I'm looking at life and I feel sorry. I said, time has come, I have to wake them up. And that's, we are here. I thank you, all of you. God bless. Namaste. Amen.